So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4. Chapter is entitled Vidura Approaches Maitreya, text number 18. Gyanam param satma raha prakasham pravachakasmai bhagavan samagram apikshamang na grahanaya varta vadanjasayad virjinam tarema. Translation. My Lord, kindly explain to us, if you think us competent to receive it, that transcendental knowledge which gives enlightenment about yourself and which you explained before to Brahmaji. Purport. A pure devotee like Uddhava has no material affliction because he engages constantly in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. A devotee feels afflicted without the association of the Lord. Constant remembrance of the Lord's activity keeps the devotee alive. And therefore Uddhava requested that the Lord please enlighten him with the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam as previously instructed to Brahmaji. Hare Krishna. So in the presence of so many senior and elevated Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, I feel very unqualified to speak. But by your mercy, I'll try to speak something for my own purification and for the pleasure of all of you, Srila Prabhupada and all the previous acharyas, because Prabhupada wanted his followers to speak Srimad Bhagavatam for our purification and for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I beg your mercy so that I can speak according to the mood of Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharya. So here, in this section, Uddhava is talking to Krishna. And in this verse specifically, Uddhava is asking for enlightenment in the form of receiving the transcendental knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada is wonderfully writing in his purport that a pure devotee like Uddhava has no material affliction because he engages constantly in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. And in the future, in the next line also, Prabhupada uses the word again, constantly. This is very, very important. Constant engagement and constant remembrance. These are the words which are very, very specific in the purport, and I will try to speak something on this. So it is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Savaipangsha paro dharma jato bhaktir adhaksaje ahituki apratihata jayatmasu prasidati. So Srimad Bhagavatam talks about the supreme religion, pure devotional service. And pure devotional service is characterized by two things, two qualities. One is ahituki. Ahituki means causeless. Apratihata means uninterrupted. So here, uninterrupted aspect has been mentioned by Prabhupada in the purport. In Sikhastakam prayer also, Mahaprabhu is speaking about the same principle in the third verse. Trinadapi sunichena, tarorapi sahishnana, amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. sada, always, constantly. That is the symptom of nishtha bhakti. There are two kinds of bhakti, anishtita bhakti and nishtha bhakti. Anishtita means unsteady and nishtha means steady. There are 9 levels of devotional service, starting from Saddha. Ado Shraddha tata sadhu sanga bhajana kriya anartha nibriti, nishtha, ruchi, asakti, bhava and ultimately prema. And prema also has different levels. Sneha, mana, pranaya, rag, anurag, bhav, mahabhav. And mahabhav also has different varieties. So, ado Shraddha till anartha nibriti, that is known as unsteady devotional service. It means as long as we have anarthas in our heart, we cannot have steady devotional service. To have steady devotional service, constant engagement in devotional service, we have to be free from anarthas. And that is the main focus as a sadhaka. That we have to hear and chant Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. And that is also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityang bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. So when our anarthas are almost destroyed, not 100%, because anarthas are ultimately destroyed at the level of prema bhakti. Subtle desires are still there till we attain the level of prema bhakti. But at the level of nishtha, anarthas are almost gone. And at that level, we can have constant engagement in devotional service. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through his associates, exhibited these symptoms of pure devotional service. 2 examples, 2 pastimes I like to narrate to establish this constant engagement in pure devotional service. Apratihata bhakti, uninterrupted devotional service. Kirtaniya sada hari. So Haridas Thakur is the Namacharya, and chanting of the holy name is a Juga Dharma. So Trinadapi Sunichena Tararupi Sahishtuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari, Mahaprabhu did not want to keep it as a theoretical verse. He exhibited it through Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur was not liked by the people there where he used to reside, in area Fulia. And there was a complaint against him. And the Qazi called Haridas Thakur. He said, Haridas, you are chanting the names of other religion. And a lot of complaints are coming against you, but I will forgive you. Only one condition. You just have to stop chanting. Nothing else you have to do. Sometimes we think, oh, if we do activities, then we'll have problems. Even if you chant, problem will be there in this material world. So whatever we do, there will be problems. That is the symptom of material world. So Haridas Thakur was in problem. Why? What mistake he did? He was constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord. And because of that, complaint. And the punishment was that Qazi said, if you don't stop chanting, then you have to stop breathing, means you will be killed. And what will be the process? You will be beaten up in 22 marketplaces. Sometimes people think 22 marketplace means is the name of a market. And Prabhupada specifically writes in the purport, 22 marketplace means 22, number 22, 1, 2, 3, 4, 22 marketplaces. And case study reveals that when someone was beaten up in 1 or 2 marketplaces like that, either he was dead or he was completely surrendered. That was the level of beating. We cannot imagine that kind of beating. So Haridas Thakur was beaten up in 22 marketplaces. And when he was proposed that you will be beaten up, you will be killed, Haridas Thakur chanted a verse. Khanda khanda hai deho jai jodi pran tabu nami badane chariboh rinam. Haridas Thakur said, if my body is cut into pieces, each piece of my body will constantly chant the holy name of the Lord. That is called uninterrupted devotional service. But sadhaka, like me at least, some problem, chanting is disturbed. But I don't think we are challenged like that. If you chant, you will be killed. That kind of challenge is very, very rare. That's why Mahaprabhu is establishing through Haridas Thakur this kind of challenge. And when someone is chanting constantly like that, Krishna takes complete control of the devotee, give complete protection. And Mahaprabhu was talking to Haridas in Srivas Angan during Mahaprakash Leela. He said, Haridas, can you remember when you are beaten up in 22 marketplaces, I sent Sudarshan Chakra. So lesson to be learned, when we chant the holy name of the Lord constantly, Sudarshan Chakra is there as our security agent of the Lord. Proof is Ambarish Maharaj. When Ambarish Maharaj was offended, immediately Sudarshan Chakra was in action, running behind Durvasa Muni. So here also Mahaprabhu sent the Sudarshan Chakra, and Sudarshan Chakra came back. So Mahaprabhu asked Sudarshan Chakra that you are my assistant, and assistant is supposed to assist the master. I told you to kill all the people of the Kazi, but instead of killing, you came back. Why you are not following my order? What kind of servant are you? Then Sudarshan said, I am your loyal servant, my lord. He said, how come? I told you to kill, but you came back without touching them. He said, my dear lord, you also declared that your devotee is greater than you, isn't it? He said, yes, how can I deny? I declared. So Haridas is your pure devotee, and you are the Supreme Lord. And as a Supreme Lord, you are telling to kill them, but your pure devotee Haridas Thakur is begging to forgive them. I followed the order of Haridas Thakur and came back. In that way, I followed your order perfectly. So Mahaprabhu thought, yes, he's very good in logic. So now what to do? Then his main weapon could not act. And Mahaprabhu is telling, for a pure devotee like Haridas Thakur, Mahaprabhu does not depend on Sudarshan. Lord personally protects that kind of devotee. And Mahaprabhu said, I came personally, and I kept my back on your back, and took all the beatings by the Kazis. Do you believe, Haridas? I did that. Haridas had the full faith, but to clear our doubts, Mahaprabhu is performing this pastime. Then Mahaprabhu took out his chadar, and at the back of Mahaprabhu there was the mark, red mark of the whips. So in that way, Mahaprabhu is demonstrating to the whole world, especially to the devotee community, who is constantly engaged in chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there to personally protect that devotee. And that is the result of apratihata bhakti. Another example is Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur is a very special devotee. Mahaprabhu chose to perform his Sankirtan pastime in the house of Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur had a big family. And jokingly once Mahaprabhu asked Srivas, you have such a huge family, you do something practical. Whole day you are doing Hari Bol, daytime with me on the street, night time at your home. No practical work you are doing. How you are going to maintain your family? Do something practical. So Mahaprabhu was telling practically. And in response to that, Srivas clapped 3 times. Mysterious master, mysterious servant. To reveal the mystery, Mahaprabhu asked that why you are clapping and also why 3 times. So Srivas said, first time clapping means I will fast for the first day. Second clapping, I will fast for the second day. Third clapping, I will fast for the third day. Even after that nothing happens, Ganges is not far. I will go to the Ganges and drown in the Ganges and give up my life. So Mahaprabhu declared, Srivas, one day that day may come when Lakshmi ji may have to come out on the street and beg. That can happen. But Srivas, in your house, there will be no scarcity. So generally devotees say loudly Hari Bol for this. But I have a big but. Only Hari Bol is not enough. In order to achieve that kind of blessings from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srivas Thakur exhibited something which is very, very important for us to learn. Haridas Thakur, I explained already, he was doing uninterrupted devotional service. Srivas Thakur also was performing uninterrupted devotional service. Haridas Thakur, in social point of view, he was alone, he was renounced. Srivas Thakur was a grihastha. And Mahaprabhu is telling, apratihata bhakti does not depend on ashram. Very, very important principle. And Mahaprabhu also establishes that renunciation is a symptom of his followers. Mahaprabhur bhakta ganer vairagya pradhan taha dekhi pritahan gaura bhagavan. It is explained the symptom of a devotee of Lord Chaitanya is that they are very renounced. Vairagya pradhan. The principal symptom of a devotee of Lord Chaitanya that they are renounced. And Srila Prabhupada also explained 2 days back, I think day before yesterday, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj also was telling Prabhupada in London, he told to his Grihastha disciples that I expect my Grihastha disciples to be Paramhansas. And what is the meaning of Paramhansa? Complete absorption in Krishna consciousness. Whatever we do, that should be done for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the meaning of Paramhansa. And he also explained that the Grihasthas should have Acharya as their son. That is the purpose of Grihastha order of life. So in that way, Srila Prabhupada is conveying the same principle of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhur bhakta ganer vairagya pradhan. So here, Srivas Thakur is showing that principle. Although he had a big family, but he was completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness, constantly engaged in pure devotional service. So one night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting and dancing in the house of Srivas. And Srivas Thakur heard the sound of crying by the ladies from inside. So he wanted to check what was going on. So he entered into the inner chambers and he saw that his own son died. And when he came to know that his son died, Srivas Thakur was very jubilant. He said, my son is so fortunate that in front of the Lord, and the Lord is chanting and dancing in Sankirtan, he left his body. That is the perfection of his life. But he gave warning to the ladies. Now my Lord is chanting and dancing in my house. If the sound of your crying stop the Sankirtan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then I will go to the Ganges and give up my body. Then you can cry as much as you want. Immediately, crying stopped. That is the symptom of uninterrupted, pure devotional service. Even the death of his own son could not interrupt the pure devotional service of Srivas Thakur. That's why Mahaprabhu took complete care of Srivas Thakur. So that is the meaning of constant engagement in pure devotional service. Then Prabhupada is writing in the purport here, a devotee does not feel any material affliction. And he feels material affliction when he is separated from Krishna. That is the affliction of a pure devotee. Krishna Viraha. While Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking to Ramananda Rai in South India, so Mahaprabhu asked, out of all the distresses in this material world, which is most painful? So Ramananda Rai replied, separation from the devotees of Krishna is the most painful distress. So, our parampara, Gaudiya parampara, is teaching love in separation. And it is explained in the purport by Prabhupada, devotee remains alive because in separation, devotees don't like to live. They want to die. But they keep themselves alive. And what is the medicine of that? Medicine is constant remembrance. And that exactly happened to the Brajavasis, especially the gopis, when Krishna left Vrindavan. So we chant the verse from Sikhastakam, Jugaitang nimeshena chakshusha prabrisaitam, sunnaitang jagat sarvam govinda virahename. This is the symptom of love in separation. One moment of separation is like a juga, and one juga of union is like a moment. That is the symptom of prema bhakti, love in separation. So Mahaprabhu came to this world to distribute that love and experience that love. Rukmini Devi told Krishna in Dwarka that, my dear Lord, you know everything, but you don't know one thing. He said, really? What is that? I don't know anything. I don't know one thing. What is that? He said, you know everything, how Brahma creates, how everything is maintained, how everything is annihilated. All informations are there with you, but you don't know how your devotees love you. So it was a news for Krishna. He said, who knows? He said, I know. Rukmini Devi said, and Srimati Radharani knows. So at that moment, Krishna decided, what's the point to be a god? I declared Abhigya Sarat in Srimad Bhagavatam, I already declared, I know everything, but it is rightly pointed out that I don't know how my devotees are feeling while giving their life in devotional service to me. I want to experience that love. So that's why Krishna chose to be a devotee, the best devotee, Srimati Radharani, and he came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited that love. Last 12 years, and especially last 6 years of his manifest pastime in Jagannath Puri, he was exhibiting that love. Intense separation from Krishna. So when Krishna left, because one moment of separation is like a juga, and Krishna told the gopis that I'll come back. But he did not come back. One moment is very difficult to tolerate, and he did not come for a long time. So gopis thought, what's the use of our lives? Better to give it up. But they thought, if we die, if Krishna comes to know, he will be very unhappy. That's why they could not die. And in separation, they could not live also. So what they could do? They could not live, they could not die. Our acharyas are explaining, they could only cry. So our movement is the movement of crying. By hearing that, people may not be interested. But this crying is not the crying of this material world. This is crying for Krishna, that is the perfection of our life. Srila Prabhupada said that I have established this International Society for Krishna Consciousness to teach people how to cry for Krishna. But our heart is so hard, very hard. It is said, the holy name is so powerful it can melt the stone. The holy name has that potential. But holy name is not capable to melt our heart. So I think it is the very special product. So it is made of steel, not of stone. And special steel, very difficult to melt. Very, very difficult to melt. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to melt this heart also. That's why he gave the holy name and he gave love of Godhead. He said that I'll inundate the whole world with love of Godhead. Everybody will cry. That's why Prabhupada said, if you cannot cry, then you should cry that I am not able to cry. And ultimately, we have to cry. But it's the crying of the soul, internal cry, not the external cry. If you cry externally and internally something else, Prabhupada said this is sahajiya. So when we talk about crying, is the crying of the soul, longing for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And is the expression of love in separation. And we think how it is possible. How a moment can be a juga. So it is also explained when Krishna used to come, after spending the whole day in the forest, when gopis were waiting for whole day to see him, they used to condemn the Creator that Krishna is so beautiful. How beautiful Krishna is, very difficult to explain. It's inconceivable. And to see that unlimited, inconceivable beauty of Krishna, the Creator should have given unlimited number of eyes. But somehow, he gave only 2 eyes. And that also he does not know how to create. He gave eyelids. And dropping of the eyelids was like a juga for the gopis. One dropping of the eyelid was like a juga. They are feeling so much separation. But the sadhakas, they feel Creator is very wonderful. They have given eyelids. And we experience lot of happiness when we drop the eyelids, right? And we pray that it should not go up so that we can also experience some kind of bliss. So bliss is there, whether you are sleeping or whether you are feeling love in separation. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. So chanting of the holy name gives lot of happiness and lot of bliss. Anandam badi vardhanam pratipadam purnamrita ashradanam. But a sadhaka who does not have any taste in the holy name, he feels very happy chanting of the holy name. When he feels happy? After finishing 16 rounds. He feels so happy, the best part of the day is done. I finished my 16 rounds. But those who have taste in the holy name, they feel happy while chanting the holy name of the Lord. And what is the symptom of taste? After finishing your quota of 16 rounds, we feel to continue to chant more and more and more. That is the symptom of taste. Just like if prasadam is very tasty, after stomach is full, we think why stomach is full. And if the prasadam is not tasty, before eating we feel, after eating one morsel, he said, I am full. Because there is no taste. So taste is very, very important. That's called ruchi in the step of devotional service. So after nishtha, ruchi comes. And what is the symptom of ruchi? Taste. Na dhanang, na janang, na sundaring, kabitang ma jagadisha kamaye, mama janmani janmanishare, bhavatad bhaktir ahoituki tai. Then everything of this world, including liberation, will become insignificant. That is a symptom of taste in devotional service. So here, constant remembrance has been explained. So absorption is a secret to experience happiness. So while Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in South India, he reached Srirangam, and in that temple, one Brahmana, a Vaishnava Brahmana, he was reading 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita every day. That was his sadhana. But he was not so learned. And Srirangam is a place of scholars. And the scholars, while they are hearing the pronunciation or chanting of the slokas by this Brahmana, the Vaishnava Brahmana, they used to laugh at him, ridicule him, because his pronunciation was not correct. But when Mahaprabhu saw, he saw he is a pure devotee. Why? All the symptoms of love of Godhead were exhibited in that Brahmana. Vaishnava Brahmana, very, very important. When you talk about Brahmana, Prabhupada said that we want to create some Brahmana in ISKCON. That is called Vaishnava Brahmana. Very, very important. So, Janmana jayate Shudra Samaskarat bhavet Dija, Veda Patat bhavet Vipra Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. So, by birth, we are not in knowledge, we are in ignorance, that is known as Sudra Janma. Then Sangaskarat, by the second birth, by the spiritual master, and in Gayatri Mantra, we become Dija, twice born. And what is the purpose of initiation? To study Vedas. Veda Patat bhavet Vipra. Those who study Veda, they are known as Vipra. And what is the purpose of studying Veda? Krishna says, Vedasya sarver aham vedya. The purpose of studying Veda is to know Krishna. So who is a Brahmana? Brahma janati iti Brahmana. Who knows Brahman? He is a Brahmana. And Bhagavatam says, we can know absolute truth at three different levels. Brahmati, Paramatmati, Bhagavaniti sabdate. Those who know only the impersonal aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, absolute truth, he is known as a Jnani Brahmana. who knows the Paramatma aspect of the Absolute Truth is a Yogi Brahmana, and who knows the Bhagavan aspect of the Absolute Truth is a Vaishnava Brahmana. So when Prabhupada talks about Brahmana, he talks about Vaishnava Brahmana, and that Brahmana was a Vaishnava Brahmana. And why he was experiencing the symptom of love of Godhead? Avishta hoiya Gita pare anandita mone. Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, he was absorbed. Avishta means absorbed. Absorption. Avishta hoiya Gita pare anandita mone. We can experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness. We can experience the bliss of love of Godhead when we are completely absorbed. Then there will be no material affliction. Material affliction cannot touch that devotee because he is completely absorbed. Absorption is very, very important. When Akrura was instructed by Kamsa to go to Vrindavan, he started his journey from Mathura to Nandagaon. He started his journey early in the morning, and he reached Vrindavan at the sunset, dusk. So, going from Mathura to Vrindavan, it should not take so long time, right? And he was not walking also. Kamsa gave him a golden chariot, a beautiful chariot he got. So that chariot is very, very fast. So why Akrura took so long time to reach Vrindavan? It is explained by the Acharyas, Akrura was completely absorbed in Krishna. And he could not understand where he is going. Absorption. We cannot imitate it. So absorption in Krishna will take us to Vrindavan, not the chariot. That's why, in order to experience love of Godhead, in order to experience the bliss of Krishna consciousness, in order to be free from the material affliction, the quality which is explained here is constant remembrance of Krishna, complete absorption in Krishna consciousness. And that is the purpose of our life. And how that will happen? It's not an automatic thing. We have to follow the process. That's why Uddhava is asking Krishna, please enlighten me. And what is asking for? The knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam. Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Shakkhamatma Nivadanam. Iti Pungsarvita Vishnu Bhaktisya Navalakshana. The process is hearing and chanting. Remembrance will come as a product of hearing and chanting. That's why Uddhava is asking for enlightenment. We have enjoyment, we have entertainment, we have enlightenment, we have emancipation. 4 levels. Enjoyment is with the senses. We enjoy our senses. Mind wants entertainment. And intelligence needs enlightenment. And when you are enlightened, we get emancipation. That is the process. But how to get enlightenment? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tesang satata yuktanang bhajatang piti purvakam dadami buddhi jogam tam janamam upajantite. Constant engagement in pure devotional service. Then we can get enlightenment. And when we get enlightenment, next step is we get emancipation. We get love of Godhead. We enter into the spiritual world. So that is the process. So Uddhava is teaching us by his own example how to get perfection in our life. So the process is constant hearing and chanting of Srimad Bhagavatam and the holy name. Srila Prabhupada, in one of the purports in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he writes, a pure devotee engages 24 hours a day in hearing and chanting. That is a symptom of a pure devotee. But for a sadhaka, it is difficult. That's why Prabhupada has given a system. At least we should hear and chant 3 hours. 2 hours in chanting and 1 hour hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. 3 hours is a very magic number. Why? Because our parampara reveals that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while he was in Jagannath Puri, he used to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from Gadadhar Pandit in Tota Gopinath temple every day in the afternoon for 3 hours. Raghunath Das Goswami used to speak 3 hours at the bank of Radhakund on the life and teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I heard Srila Prabhupada, when he started his chanting in the Thompson Square Park, he used to chant for 3 hours. This is a magic number. And he said, if you do 3 hours of sadhana of hearing and chanting seriously, there will be a serious impact in our consciousness. There will be serious impact in our life change. That's why Prabhupada has introduced 2 hours of chanting and 1 hour of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Because for us to chant and hear for 24 hours is not practical because we are not at that level. But that is the goal of our life. Haridas Thakur did that, our Acharyas did that, Srila Prabhupada did that. So that is the perfection of our life. When we have taste in hearing and chanting, that is the perfection of our life. Then we can get the bliss of Krishna consciousness. And according to Srila Prabhupada, that is the perfection of our life. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Premanande.